Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Scott with Keeping It Real Bass Fishing. Appreciate you joining today. And I wanted to kind of jump right in here and appreciate you guys, for joining us and watching our videos. We're excited about getting things going. I mean, it's been a minute with this, with the weather being so hot. I mean, we've had like really hot weather in the 90s. Heat index is 100 or better. It's just been really hot, and fishing hasn't been that great. And it's just been miserable trying to get out there, not unless you're doing some night fishing, which I'm not able to do, and I really don't like to do. But anyway, temperatures are coming down. It's a great time of the year. We're getting ready for that fall transition. Where highs are still in the daytime. I mean, it's still getting a little warm. We've had temperatures in the 80s, high 80s. I think even this weekend is supposed to be up about 89. But the trick is at night the temperatures are getting colder. We've had temperatures in 70s, 60s, and even tonight down in the upper 50s. It feels really nice out. And but the water temperatures are going down pretty quick because of these cool nights and this transition, which the bass are going to transition from the summertime patterns into that fall pattern. And that's what we want to talk about. Because fall transition can be a good time. It can make you or break you if you know where to find fish and how to locate them, and what to use this time of year. You professional anglers have been out this a while. You probably got this down pat, but you new anglers out there, or maybe you just struggle during the time of the fall trying to locate and find fish. We want to talk about that today, because we got people fish different types of structures of water, that watch our videos, and we want to talk about all of those. There's some other guys out there that good fishermen, been doing this, recording for us fishing videos, bass fishing videos. They've been doing it a lot longer than I have, and I've watched some of their videos and different things that they're putting out there. I hardly ever see these guys, talking to them about certain things that I'm going to talk about. Most of the time they're running up and down the lakes. They're out there on the big waters, or they're running, fishing down in Florida or out in Texas, or down in Garnersville, or other big lakes where they know that they can find big bass, or they even got their own product stock pond or lake that they got big bass in, hybrids, and their own catching. Anybody can catch fish in those places and those conditions if given, but us guys don't have that luxury. We're fishing here. I'm in Alabama, North Alabama, in the Huntsville area, and we're fishing local. I'm not traveling all over the states to go bass fishing. We may hit fish Garnersville, but I don't fish Garnersville as much as a lot of guys do. There's Wheeler, there's Pickwick, and those lakes as well. In Smith Lake, we got a lot of big lakes around here we can fish. There's a good bass fishing lakes, but there's also small lakes, and there's also ponds. And I want to talk about not just fishing this time of year on the big water. I want to also talk about fishing this time of year on the smaller bodies of water. So we're going to get into all of that. We're going to talk about where the fish should be, where we can locate those fish, and what baits to use. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into there, and we'll definitely get, I think, benefit from this. But anyway, I hope you enjoy it. All right, let's go. Hey everybody, welcome back. Like I say, my name is Scott with Keeping It Real Bass Fishing, and we do appreciate you joining today. We're going to be talking a little bit about this fall transition, like what I was stating in the intro. It's already starting to get cooler at night. And like I said, we're already getting 50s and 60s at night. Well, 60s and 70s. I think tonight it's supposed to go down maybe in the 50s, upper 50s or so. It's nice out. It feels really good. I don't know if it's going to get that cool, but that's what I think I heard the weatherman say. But anyway, the point is that these cooler nights start causing the water temperatures to drop. In the daytime, it still may be in the 80s and still feel hot. But at night, it gets cold. Water temperature drops. If you don't believe me, go outside and check your pool and see how much colder it is if you have one. If you don't, go check the pond you've been fishing and see. I know my pool has been in, like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, it was in 94 degrees. And I checked it, I believe, yesterday, and it was 82 degrees. And I hadn't checked it today, but I will check it tomorrow just to see. And it's dropping like that. So I know the lakes are going to start coming down. Ponds are going to start coming down pretty quick. And these small reservoirs like the DeKalb County Lake, Madison County Lake, and the other lakes around like that size, you guys that fish those lakes. And I fish those lakes myself, you know, from time to time. But they're going to start coming down, especially, you know, we can start getting some rains this time of year, colder rains, that colder water going in. It's going to help cool it down quick. So what happens is the fish are they're going to get more active. They respond to bass respond to water temperature, light and darkness, you know, in current, oxygen in the water, you know, so they can be more active. And then when the water temperatures are starting to get cold, they're thinking the winter's coming. They know that the water's going to get colder and colder, so now it's time to start feeding. So they're going to go into more of a feeding mode. You know, they're going to start looking for bait fish. They're going to start looking more for shad to chase, or shiners, whatever bait fish it might be in the lake or pond reservoir that you're fishing. They're going to go after that to start eating, because they know they need to fatten up for the winter. When that water gets real cold, then they're not moving, doing anything. You know how they just suspend and really don't feed at all. You know, notice you get that reaction bite. That's another subject in the winter. But we ain't there. We're getting into the fall coming up. It can be a good time. It could be a make you break you time. I kind of make a song out of that, make you break you. I'm just playing. It can make you or break you. In other words, you can go out and catch some fish, or if you don't know, you know, what to do, you ain't gonna, chances are you're catching any or slimmer. You still could, because a blind squirrel blind squirrel can find a nut every once in a while, I've always heard. So I mean, if you just go out and go fishing, and just fish and fish and fish, you're bound to catch something. But you're not going to be able to get on a pattern and produce and catch a lot of, you know, quality of fish, or be able to catch any good sized fish, in numbers anyway. So, you know, the question is, you know, a lot of guys, you know, this time of year, it's like they throw their hands up. You know, where's the fish at? Where do the fish go? You know, and then if they like, well, you know, they kind of get an idea where they might find them. Maybe you've been down at the lake and you see them out running shad and chasing shad, and you know there's fish out there in those areas, so you want to go try fishing. Now it's like, well, what am I going to throw? You know, what am I going to use? What am I going to catch these fish on? And you ever been there? Yeah, I'm sure you have, because I know I have too. Well, all right, let's talk about, we're going to talk about reservoirs, the bigger reservoirs first, and then go down to the smaller water. On the big reservoirs, you know, this time of year, you want to try to find your secondary, what I call secondary or outer points. And then find your secondary, outer points going into creeks or rivers or channels. You know, those outer points and ledges, that's where the fish have been. this time of year, probably out in deeper water close to current, and they're gonna start moving up from those locations. They're gonna move up shallower and shallower. They don't just move up real fast. I learned this a long time ago. My dad told me, he said they got to decompress. I never understood that. I thought he was joking, but they do. They've been in deep water for so long. It's just like when you go scuba diving. You get the bends. You can't come up real fast. You get air in your bloodstream and kill you. Well, fish have to, them big basses in that deep water, it doesn't matter if it's in the winter coming up for the spring or in the summer coming back up into shallow water. They move up in stages so they can decompress. And then they'll move up in stages and decompress so that they can move up in that shallow water and survive. And so when they're out there on that deeper water, you got to think about that. Well, the places where you're fishing will kind of depend on that, because ponds are different than, lakes, smaller lakes or reservoirs and so forth. You know that. Most ponds ain't very deep. So the fish react differently there. They don't really never go deep enough to have to worry about what we're talking about right now. But if you're out there on that big water, it's what you need to think about. So they're going to move up like that, and they're going to start looking, trying to find bait fish. They're going to try to be looking for whatever shad or shiners or minnows, whatever it is that they're chasing and feeding on. They obviously are, territorial, and they going to look and try to get themselves in a position where they can ambush this prey and go on a feeding frenzy. And a lot of times your smaller bass will move up first before the big bass, and the smaller bass will go after these bait fish, shad, and they'll aggressively feed on them and kill so many and that they don't get in their mouth, and they'll fall down. And as they're falling down underneath them, the bigger bass will be laying there waiting on them for that easy prey and eat them. So, and you can get fish down below the smaller bass a little deeper. If you find small bass chasing bait fish, shallow, on top water, them just underneath the surface, and all you see or catch is just, maybe 12, 14 inches or smaller. You can bet there's bigger ones underneath them. So you can drop a spoon or some kind of a Hopkins spoon or anything of that nature, some kind of a jig even. And I tell you another thing that works good, a lot of people don't use anymore, I don't know anybody that does, is an old Bucktail Jig. Those things still work good too. You can drop that thing down in there and jig it up and down underneath them and grab you one. You can try other things. You can throw crankbaits, spinner baits, and jerk baits, and you may catch something like that or cranking down through there. So, like I say, that being said, they're going to move up in stages like that. They're going to start out on the outer points and work to the secondary points, and then keep working their way back into the backs of these channels or creeks. Because they're going to ball these shad up, and they're going to run and push the shad in the backs of these cuts, these creeks, and they'll run them right up on the banks and the rocks. And you'll see them jumping out of the water and flipping around, because the fish are chasing them, and they'll back them up in there. So, you just got to find those places on your reservoir and go, take a day, go out and just scout. Don't, you don't necessarily have to fish all day. You can, but fish some or whatever, but cruise around. Find some places where you see some active bait and fish running and jumping, and then try to pick you up some. And then don't catch them all. Leave them alone. Go somewhere else and see if you can do the same thing. Get yourself on some kind of a pattern so you can kind of see, well, these fish will stage in like this, and then, hopefully be able to go back pretty quick, and, so you have a good day fishing. lures that I would be using this time of year, especially in the reservoirs, you know, the bigger water, as we're talking about. There's all types of baits, but I find that rattle traps or lipless crankbait work very good. Notice it's not a very big one. You know, you want to try to you want to try to match it up to the size of the bait fish that the fish are chasing. You want to try to imitate that. And most of the bait fish that I see around these parts of the woods, usually about this size, maybe even a little smaller. Sometimes it'll be a little bigger. It's just depending on, I guess, the group of fish bait fish that they are chasing. I'm trying to say, because I have seen them be bigger. It's depending on, I guess, how long them shad been around. But any lipless crankbait, you know, I like using this particular rattle trap. It's the color and the size is real good this time of year. And you can throw that thing up because they're gonna chase them. Bass gonna chase them shad right up against them rocks, you know, riff-raff, rocky banks, particularly, or whatever bank may be there. So you want something that you can throw in there without it getting hung up as well. So this works very well for that, even though it's the type of crankbait it is. It does a good job. There's other colors you could use. There's different brands. Like I say, I'm not no particular brand, you know, trying to tell you to use whatever brands you like. Color's going to be dependent upon, obviously, the water color conditions. If it's chocolate milk, you know, you're going to throw something much brighter in color. Probably, you know, obviously have some rattle in it. And I don't even know if, you know, in that situation, how well a rattle trap would even be. You may want to go to a crankbait. And, you know, crankbaits can be good too. This time of year, I would go use, like I say, there again, you see the size? And that's because of the size of the shad I've been seeing. And trying to stay around, you know, that particular size. That's a square bill crankbait. Really good this time of year, you know, because I throw up shallow and come out, and it's only going to run a few feet under the water, and that's where all the bait fish are. So I don't want to be underneath the bass. So think about the type of crankbait. You can use different kind of crankbaits, different brand names and colors. They're again depending on water conditions. And mosquitoes still biting. And there again, just matter of getting this in the strike zone. That's what's important. You know, when you're throwing any kind of crankbait or any kind of lure, you want to be in that strike zone where the fish are feeding at. If you don't already know that. This is another, I found another little guy. I call it a guppy. It's not, it's a new model of a lipless crankbait that came out. I think it's made by Repella, if I remember right. There's no rattles in that thing. I know you can see that. I want you to hear it good. So you just have to try it and see how good it works. I know it catches fish. Sometimes fish don't want that noise. Sometimes they do. Tell you, jerk baits are good too. I wouldn't go with, you know, not great big jerk baits this time of year. Just, you know, these are more like finesse type jerk baits. And hooks are short for. Got rattles in it. Hear that? This one don't. Or does it? It's got a little rattle. Not a lot. Those are good this time of year. Also, this bad boy right here, this crankbait. You see the color. It's got that computer board square bill. Obviously, I've thrown it a lot. It's a good bait this time of year too to catch the the bass when they're up feeding like we're talking about. And a lot of you guys are probably thinking, oh, I gotta beat the bank. I gotta beat find me some stumps. I gotta find me some lay downs. I gotta find me some brush piles. You gotta get off that subject. This time of year, if you really want to find fish and catch the bass, this is how they're going to behave. Now you may find you some fish in those locations, depending on what it is. But largemouth, typically this is the way they're going to behave on your reservoirs. As the waters get cooler, because the bait fish are not going to be in those locations. The bait fish are up shallower. So they're going to follow the bait fish, and they're going to, they're going to eat. We all like to eat, and they're going to eat and get their bellies full because they got a winter coming up. And also I found that a small spinnerbait, that's a 3/8 spinnerbait. It has the silver willow leaf and a silver Colorado blade. I should say Indiana blade, I'm sorry. And you see the skirt. This strike, it's made out of material. It's not like the rubber silk skirts that we see on most spinnerbaits today. This is a Strike King. You won't find these anymore. Not that I know of. If maybe online somewhere you may be able to order them. I ain't even looked. I'm sorry, I said Strike King. I lied. It's not a Strike King. It's a FLW. That's what that is. It's a FLW spinnerbait. And I've got different sizes and colors. I bought these many years ago, and this one's still like brand new because I hadn't threw it. But I take care of my stuff. But it's I have got some that's wore slap out. I'm going to step out of the frame for a second. Just to show you. See this one here? I hope you can see that. I have wore the paint off of it. The head, I have wore it out and beat it up so bad it ain't even funny. And I got other ones that are worse than that. The reason I'm showing it to you is because that's how much I've thrown this. I have caught so many fish on this spinnerbait. I have wore them out on this thing, and nobody catching fish but me. And they're like, what are you catching them on? And they see me throwing a spinnerbait, but they don't know what kind. I don't know if you, it's a good one. It's a good tip. I'm telling you, if you find these right here, somewhere, I haven't seen them anywhere. In like Bass Pro or Cabela's or even Academy Sports, neither. I haven't seen them in there. I hadn't seen them in many, many years. Used to buy them at Walmart. And they just quit making them. I don't know if you can get them online or not. Those spinnerbaits are real good. Especially, they're good in the spring and they're good in the fall when they're chasing bait. And just periodically just throwing them around. They're lightweight and something about that skirt. Then bass love that skirt. Puts off a good reflection in the water. And last but not least, Zoom Super Flukes. You know, these are whites, Super Flukes. You know, just typical white Super Flukes. I know everybody knows what they are. This is the Salty Super Fluke White Pearl. White's good if you've got a little bit of color in the water. Obviously, if the water's clear, you know, a good shad color. You know, if it's semi-dingy, even same, you can still use through the shad color. You know, good shad color. And you can fish this thing differently. And that's another video we can talk about. Actually, another video I could probably not just talk about it, but show you actually how to do it. Because I know a lot of guys like how you rig these things up. Because with the fluke, you can do so many things with a fluke. You can fish it in so many versatile ways. You know, you can fish it on top real quick, walking the dog with it. You know, or you can let it fall on its own underwater and jerk it back. You can actually just let it sink to the bottom and just twitch it up off the bottom and let it fall back down. And twitch it up a little bit and let it fall back down. If the fish are suspended in a certain area for whatever reason, and you can take that fluke and, like I say, when they're chasing shad up above on the surface and there's bigger bass underneath them, like I say, even suspended or on the, you kind of gotta know if they're suspended or on the bottom, but if you can, but you let that fluke sink down below that area with the shad running and the smaller bass are chasing those fish, let that fluke fall down. You know, I usually just count one, count, because it'll fall about 1 foot per second. That's what gets what I'm trying to say. So I'll throw it out, flip it out there where they're at, or cast it out, and that's 1, 2, and so forth. And if I know they're about 4 or 5 foot of water or so, if I think that's where they're at, then I let it get down that far. I just kind of twitch it, just jerk it a little bit, twitch it, and just let it fall. Don't reel it in, just jerk it up, and you know, wait, let it fall back down. Give it a few seconds, do it again. You don't want to jerk it real hard, just a little twitch, you know, and just let it fall. What it does is imitating that shad. Looks like a dead shad falling, and then trying to kick back up. It catch fish this time of year too. No, not just because people think you have to throw a fluke out and just walk it back like this. You catch fish that way, but that's the way they're feeding, but not always. And of course, you can fish it as a swim bait. Put a little weight on it. You can put a swim bait head on it, or swim bait hook, and just throw it out. Bigger hook, weights. And what I would do is put like 3 or 4 hook on the super fluke, and with no weight. And that, because the weight of the hook itself will sink that thing, along with the weight of the fluke, but it's a slow fall. So, you know, so if water gets colder, that works even better. And that's another good tip. And, you know, pretty much, yeah, you can throw, I have some other items on too. Oh, sorry. A swim jig, even. You know, you want to go with the shad looking color. You know, get your shad, just a swim jig, and it's a contact swim bait, using for a trailer. And that's another option you could use, you know, as well, throwing out there underneath them, not so much on top, but underneath them to try to catch some of the bigger fish on the bottom. Then another good item, to me, this, you know, works very well. Some guys, I know guys throw swim baits year round, but this particular time of year, ouch, I like throwing the swim bait with the underspin. And you can throw that, you know, pretty much any time of the year, but this time of year, you can see that. And then there again, it's got that Contact swim bait on the back, and with the shad color. And they work very well, you know, this time of year as well. You know, not just chasing, you know, it's depending. If you got fish that are very actively chasing a lot of bait fish around, it's going to be, you may have some that are just, you know, you see shad jumping out of the water. You know, all of a sudden, you big school of them over, just skim the top of the water, but you don't see no fish. You just see the shad running, and you see them on the banks, you know, flipping out. Well, bait, there's fish chasing them, so obviously you want to try to imitate that. So you can try different things to see what they want, you know, during this time of year that will help you in those areas. I hope these lures I showed you hope to help you catch more fish. Hopefully I showed you something that you didn't already know. Because I mean, you know, I don't know everything, and I learn something new every day. But this stuff I know because I've been bass fishing for, I don't know, I'm 55 years old now. Ever since I was old enough to hold a rod in my hand, going with my dad. And my dad's always been a hardcore bass fisherman. He taught me a lot for many years, and then I got into the tournament trails and, you know, fished and did well for a while before I decided to resign from doing that. But it's been fun. But anyway, hope you enjoyed, you know, what we talked about thus far today. Hope these pointers and tips will help you, you know, if you're fishing those types of water and with the reservoirs. I hope you enjoyed thus far what we've talked about. I want to talk more about some other water, you know, like fishing small lakes like, say, DeKalb County Lake. Because there's DeKalb County Lake, let's see, there's Madison County Lake, and there's other lakes. I'm trying to give you an idea if you know where those lakes are. I'm gonna say they're what, 10, 20 acre lakes, something like that. I'm not good on acres, but then you get the idea. They're not like, probably more like 10, 20, let's say, the lakes. And there's other ones around. You know, you may have some in your neighborhood, or, you know, in the county you live in. You know, lakes that size or smaller. And those lakes are gonna, you know, be very, especially if it's got a lot of deep water, you know, and if it got creeks running in it, you got fresh water coming in and going out of it. It's got some good water, you know, 10, 15, 20 foot or deeper. And those fish are pretty much, they're going to behave the same. And whatever bait fish is in that lake is what they're going to feed on. You know, if it's shad, it'll be shadfish, or if it's shiners or whatever it may be. You know, some people call them the same, but I don't think they really are. But anyway, you know, those reservoirs like that, you know, you just got to get out there and fish it and see if you can, you know, locate those fish. You know, they're going to be in the same areas, the same places, you know, where the creeks are running in, if they've got any cuts running back, or maybe in the shallower part of the lake, you know, you're gonna find the bait fish moving in those directions, and you're gonna find the bass chasing them. You're gonna find the bass chasing after them, and the same type of patterns, if you will, I guess you would say, for us, you know, because they're going to feed, and they're going to eat just like they would if they were in the big water. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So just, you know, get out there and just, if you don't know the water and you haven't fished it much and you're just going, you don't know what the fish are doing. You don't know if there's a shad there or the shad's moving, fish chasing the shad. You got to get out there and figure it out and find out. You know, and and then once you figure out what's going on, you know, the water temperature, first thing, you know, it's like, well, I say water temperature, okay, feels like it's getting a lot cooler. And maybe you can check the temperature if you got a gauge. It might be in the 60s, it might be in the 70s, you know, could be in the 80s, whatever it's in. You know, somewhere usually between 60 and 80 is the fish seem to be more active on feeding. And then water clarity, you know, that's going to tell you a lot. If the water's super clear drinking water, it's going to be a tough bite. You better hope they're chasing shad and going crazy, kind of like a deer in the rut. You know, if you hunt, you know how that is. They're stupid. They don't care. They just want that female. Well, bass are stupid too this time of year. If the food's active, you know, you got to think they've been sitting down deep and not eating. You know, the water's getting cooler. They're feeling good now, and they're ready to get the bite on because they want to eat. They want and get fat. They're gonna get stupid, so you can catch them. But they ain't that aggressive, got there yet. That bite can be challenging still. So you got to kind of figure those things out. Now, when the same lures I showed you, types of lures, you can, you know, like I say, you can use different lures. You don't have to use these particular models or baits. I mean, like, you know, you don't have to use this particular type of lure. Yeah, I mean, it's a good one. You do want to use, you know, I'm talking about, it needs to be the colors that you would want to throw on your lake that is the best colors or match the shad colors. But a flat, what I call flat back crankbait like this is really good because the wobble is different. It ain't got a fast wobble. Anyway, and it has the shallow bill on the front of it. It's actually a computer board, and it makes this thing run excellent. But I'm just saying, you know, the company who makes it, it don't have to be that company. It could be your favorite ones you like to use. That's what I guess is what I was trying to say about all of it. Because, you know, everybody's got different budgets. You may not be able to afford to, and again, you may be able to go buy 20 of them. That's up to you. But I'm just saying, you know, the different types of lures that I showed you will work good on these types of reservoirs. I'm just using like Madison County, DeKalb County Lake, if you fished on either one of those for an example. A lot of people around this part of the woods up here know what that is. If you're watching this and you're not from Alabama or North Huntsville, you probably not got no idea. So if you can imagine a lake being, you know, 10 to 20 acres, you know, and that's the type of lake I'm talking about. You know, compared to like Lake Garnesville, you know, Lake Garnesville is, but Garnesville is massive. You know, it's miles and miles of river. You know, and so it's a lot different. A lot of places to find fish. That lake's got so much grass in it and vegetation, just incredible fish in there. A lot of these reservoirs don't have all that luxury. You know, they may have some grass and different natures if you know your lake. So you know where the fish have been, where they should be going. Now, let's talk about smaller lakes for time's sake. Excuse me. I mean, so if we're going from the big water to, say, a 10, 20 acre lake, you know, maybe it's, I'm talking about those lakes a lot of times too. You can put a boat in or kayak in, but you can't put a big motor on it. You know, just trolling motor on those type of lakes, you know. county lakes, city lakes, private lakes. And then from there, okay, you say, well, what about us pond fishermen, this bank fishermen? What are we going to do? How are we going to catch? How are we going to catch anything? What are we supposed to do? Where are we going to find these fish? Well, pond's a pond. Depending on the size of the pond and how deep that pond is, it could be an acre pond. It could be 2, 3, 4, 5 acre pond. Who knows? To me, I like to fish ponds, you know, probably ½ acre to an acre. You know, just got some good water in it, maybe at least 10 foot or so. And they got a lot of structure around it, you know, in it. Grass, you know, lay downs, stumps, or lily pads, something to hold bait fish, and for fish to hide under, so that they can ambush the prey. So it makes you, if that's the case, you kind of like, you know where to go look for these bass, because this is obviously where they're going to be. So now you got to go figure out how you're going to get them out of there, how you're going to catch them. But there are lakes, I'm sorry, there are ponds don't have any vegetation. You know, I know of some personally. No laydowns, no stumps, no grass, no lily pads, no nothing. Just a solid, empty, clear bottom all the way around. And I can tell you from experience, those ponds will hold bass and fish and produce, even though they don't have that much vegetation in it to produce oxygen. Somehow or another, these fish still live and get very big, because that's one not far from here that I fish, and I've caught several big fish out of there, 8+, and I've caught a lot of 2s and 3s, and I even seen one day I walked down in the early spring when they was getting ready to spawn. I couldn't count so many of them were back in that one pocket, and nothing. From what I saw, I know the water makes bass look bigger than they really are, but I've done it long enough to kind of get a judge idea on it. If that bass in the water looks like he's 5 pounds, he's probably 3 pounds. You know, she's about a 2 pound difference, my experience. And all those I've seen, they look like they go, you know, easy 3 to 5 pounds a piece, you know, in the water, maybe bigger. And it was a bunch. So I know that lake drives me crazy. I know it's so full of bass, it's unreal, big bass. And I fish it all the time, just hoping I'm going to go down there and catch me a load. I usually don't catch a load. If I go, I may catch 1, I may catch 2 or 3, but if I do, they're always big bass. But it doesn't hold in any kind of structure. So, but the water, you know, still changes color, and it also, temperature-wise. And so you have to adjust, you know, there too, from fishing on top water, to fishing under the water, to fishing fast, to fishing slow, or finessing, and all those things you have to take in consideration. In this time of year, in a pond like that, they're still going to be feeding on whatever they're feeding on. In this particular pond, they're feeding on, there's crappie in there, so, and there's bluegill, and there's a lot of them. So I haven't really seen a lot of them. And as I was saying, that type of pond, there are more bass in there eating brim and crappie. That's particularly what they're eating. I haven't really seen a lot of bait fish, you know, like shad or anything like that in there. So, you know, this time of year to catch bass in a pond, you know, you just want to imitate what they're already eating. And they will be getting more active because the water's getting cooler, and they will start eating more and feeding more because they know the water's going, temperatures are going to continue to drop, and they're going to get colder. And that happens the same thing like in the other lakes. They get very sluggish. It's like they go into hibernation almost. They just don't move around to eat very much. So they got to, you know, get fat for the winter, and just, you know, that type of lake, you're just gonna have to beat it hard and throw different combinations of lures and see what they want to eat. I find in the ponds this time of year, with that kind of condition, your spinnerbait, you know, like I showed you, work good. Also a chatterbait. If I can find it. There's all kinds of, there are all kinds of chatterbaits around. I like Z-Man, but you know, something that's, there again, it looks like a shad, you know, or it's just this regular old chatterbait. And if you've never seen chatterbait, never fished chatterbait, you need to start throwing the chatterbait. I think coming across the water, that blade's just wiggling across. It's on top, but you know, underneath the water. I'm trying to say, that thing's just vibrating back and forth like that. It puts off a reflection and a big vibration in the water, and that thing's just swimming coming through there. And it looks just like a fish. And they eat it. I've caught several 8+ on that particular chatterbait right there, in that very lake, or I'm sorry, in the very pond I'm talking about. So the spinnerbait worked good in that pond. Chatterbait worked good in that pond this time of year. Shallow running crankbait would, fluke would, jerkbait would. You know, that's what I would be concentrating on throwing in there in this time of year. Now, if you got ponds that's got a lot of vegetation in it, you know, laydowns, maybe still got grass in it, you know, and maybe dying grass, but they still got cover. The fish can get in. And you can still try a little bit of top water. You know, this time of the year you can, being like I say, it's a September the 10th, so it's still transitional. But as that water gets colder, that top water bite's going to be done. In some cases, it may already be done. You know, so throwing a frog in there might not be ticky, or a papa or something slow. You know, you're probably going to be less. I mean, you can even pick up a trick worm and throw it in that stuff and let it sink down and catch them out of it. Or you can, you know, flukes work good in that same situation. Even jigs will. Swimming jig. Anything you can imitate bait fish in those particular areas. And now, I can say, if you still got a lot of foliage, you know, obviously you can still, you know, throw what you normally would throw in there. You know, if it's a frog, or, you know, or drop shotting, or, you know, ripping a chatterbait through the grass, that works good. Swimbait works good, you know, getting it in that grassy areas under the water. Worms, different types of, you know, finesse worming, I guess. You know, some people even use the big trick worms. A lot of those things, you know, in this time of year, you just gotta experiment, I guess is what I'm trying to tell you, because I mean, just telling you what I would do if I'm on a pond and I've never fished, or if it's, you know, if it's a pond that I've fished, I've probably already done a lot of this stuff, and I've already done, you know from the past what the fish did and done. You know, because I got some ponds right now I could go to that I've caught bass on. I figured them out and learned how to catch them this time of year. So I could tie that stuff on and go there and should be able to catch them. May have to make some adjustments, you know. You know, if they wasn't eating, you know, like I would think they would this time of year based off of history. But if you're fishing ponds or lakes like this that you've never been on, I mean, you got to figure them out. So sitting here telling you, well, this is going to work, throw this, that. Every lake, pond, reservoir is different. But these are the common lures that will catch bass this time of year. Common colors, there again, size is going to be depending on the bait fish and what kind, if it's shad, if it's brim, crappie, whatever the bass are eating on, depending on your reservoir, you got to imitate it best you can. And throw the type of lures that will match that as close as possible based off what you got. Some people can't, get out here and buy tons of tackle. You can, and I get that. Been there myself. You just have to, try to do the best you can. And I do this to try to help the little guy. What I mean by that, you guys that, are learning, or maybe you don't have a big pocketbook, get out here and spend hundreds and thousands of dollars, just to go catch bass. I'm reaching out to you guys. Try to help you guys as much as I can, because I want to see you learn to catch bass. That's the only reason I even do this. That's why I even got into it. I've said this before, because I've had, I just posting pictures online of bass that I've caught. I've had a bunch of different friends and guys reaching out to me, wanting me to do this to try to show them and let other people know what I've learned, to try to help them, be able to catch bass consistently and catch bigger bass. And so just remember what I told you, the types of lures, and this time of year work predominantly pretty good. And remember, depending on the reservoir, the lake or pond, you just got to figure them out and see what they're eating. And and do your best you can. And just remember, this time of year, water's getting cooler and the fish are going to start eating and the bass are going to start feeding. And I like to say they get stupid this time of year. Like I said earlier, like a deer going in a rut, like a buck in rut, he gets stupid too. He'll do things this time of year he don't normally do the rest of the year. And I'll see bass do that, even the big bass. You just got to get out there and go fishing, guys. And the more you can fish the same place and learn that lake, learn that pond or reservoir, and be consistent there and learn to figure them out, the better you'll be at that particular place of fishing. Jumping from pond to pond to pond to pond, you'll catch fish, here and there, but you're not really going to be productive as good as you could if you'd be consistent, on the same place of fishing. And that's why I'm all about being consistent. That's why I tell you what I do. You can't be consistent going this pond today, this one tomorrow, and another one the next day, and jumping all over the place. Pick out a few places you caught fish, pick out a few places that there's fish in there, and keep fishing it all year. And just figure out learn the water, learn as much as you can about it, what the fish like to eat, and what I mean by that is about the stuff you're throwing to them, and get on some patterns, and get out there and go fishing. That's how I learned many years ago, and no matter where I was at, and even that got me to where I'm at today. So I practically go to any body of water, if I've never been on it, and spend the time I need there, do what I need to do. I can eventually, I can eventually figure the fish out and get on some kind of pattern and reproduce it. And you can too, and like I say, you anglers has been doing this forever. You know what I'm talking about, because you've done all these things too. You wasn't born a professional. You've been with the little guy is, you've been where I'm at, and you've done it to make you a pro today, and I guess any guys that's listening, you can ask any pro that's out there how they got there, and they're going to tell you what I'm telling you. It's the truth. It's all about being consistent, learning from others, practicing, and just getting out there fishing and learning everything you can. All right, guys, I hope this stuff has helped you. I really do. I love you. And I appreciate you joining the channel. I appreciate you, watching the video. I hope this stuff helps you. We're gonna get out on the water, and we're gonna do some of the stuff we've talked about today. You'll get to see some other videos coming here soon, and we're gonna go out and catch some fish this time of year, because it's time to go get that big one. I'm telling you, the fish are gonna start biting, and I want to get out there and try to get as much as I can done before it gets too cold. Because then when it gets real cold, it starts getting, around holiday time, it's getting down to below freezing temperatures and stuff. This old boy don't go out there fishing when it's that cold. Sorry, I'll hang it up till it will start warming up. Not unless we get some warm days. But, I'll go fish some. But anyway, it's been a pleasure. I hope you guys have learned a thing or two. Shoot me a comment in that comment section. If you like the content, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. Let us know you enjoy the content. We appreciate that. We'd like to know how many people's actually looking at us. And if you have any questions, shoot us content. In the content I'm trying to say, shoot us a message in that content area, and we'll read it. We love hearing from you. And we got some other things coming up. One of these days here coming soon, we're going to do that mystery tackle box. I got to still get that thing out and see what's in it. All right, y'all take care, and I appreciate you joining. Y'all have a good evening. There again, my name is Scott, and this is Keeping It Real Bass Fishing. Let's go get that big one.